Hello there, wherever you are, whoever you are, whenever you are. It's me, for the first time in a long time, your favourite friendly furbulk who hangs around the internet, Addison from the Pod of Many Things. And we're back with the first episode of the new season with my friend Free Kings from the Free Kings YouTube channel, sometimes also goes as Klog. How about you introduce yourself, say what you do on the internet, all that jazz.
Name's Nick from the southwest of UK, and do the Three Kingdoms YouTube channel, all about Dynasty Warriors and the real history behind them. So not really the romance side, but the records of the Three Kingdoms.
So for those people who don't know, Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a historical romance based around the Warring Kingdoms era of China, and is the basis for the Dynasty Warriors franchise from Tecmo Koei. And yeah, you might know them from like Total War Three Kingdoms. You might recognize some of the memes as like "Don't Pursue Lu Bu" and stuff like that.
Some of the TV shows as well. There's a really good TV show on YouTube. That Three Kingdoms drama. That's really, really good. Like the acting's good. It's all pretty impressive, to be honest.
It's not like the Dynasty Warriors film then.
No, I did watch that. That was a bit yeah. Looked alright in the graphics at sometimes, but that was pretty much it.
It did look like the bombastic nature of the Dynasty Warriors franchise does not translate well to live action film.
I think the casting of Guan Yu and that I thought was like totally off. I think if I remember rightly, that was quite bad.
Fair enough.
But I'm sure there's a lot more criticisms to be made about it than just that. But
So I suppose my first question to you is: when did you first discover basically like either Dynasty Warriors or the Romance of the Three Kingdoms to pique your interest in this? Because mine was quite early on. I think I was about 11.
Probably the same age. Mine was the demo disc. I can't remember if it was PS1 or PS2. Dynasty Warriors 3 came out on like a little demo disc, and I played that level over and over. The Nan Man campaign it was. And yeah, that was it. From that day I loved it. And eventually I bought 3 Extreme Legends, and then fell in love with it from there.
I remember my friend Luke, who lived around the corner from me, had it on both the original Xbox and PS2. He had Dynasty Warriors 3. And we played Dynasty Warriors 3 together because back in the day of split screen co-op.
Yeah, that was it.
We played through like most of the campaigns trying to unlock all the characters because Jesus Christ, at some points the unlocking characters in Dynasty Warriors 3 was actually very difficult at some points. So we were like, you go here and I'll go here, and then hopefully we'll
some of the weapons as well. That was quite hard to unlock all the like ultimate weapons on 4 and 3. That was difficult. I used to do it 2-player, so I'd have the character I want to get the weapon for, take them to the corner of the map and hide them, then play as Ma Chao and just do the mission quickly, and then get the box at the end and hope that person didn't get attacked. So, that was always a bit. Just sat there doing it by myself.
Favorite then, Ma Chao? Was he your like level 50 with level 20 bodyguards versus everybody else?
All down to the fact because when he hits on the horse, it's all on one side, and that just made it so much more efficient. Him and Zhao Tai as well, and Dynasty Warriors 4, all their attacks were on one side, so you could just like do all the hardest difficulties as them.
Yeah.
And then since then, it was just always Ma Chao, Ma Chao, Ma Chao.
Yeah. So obviously that's when you first encountered it, and so what made you like want to go into the more historically accurate side of things? Because to me, the one of the main attractions is like the bombastic action and like the
craziness of it all,
and like the cool like melodrama of it all, right? So and going through the encyclopedia was cool, but I kind of liked how they were presented. What made you go, actually, I want to see who these people really were?
I think like as I got a bit older and kept playing the games, it's like a lot of the cutscenes and dialogue and stuff, it was just none of it to me really made much sense. So I want to know like what's actually going on, and also like to give credit to the actual people. They did even like exist. So it's good to highlight what they actually did, and like some people are kind of downplayed and others are Upplayed. So I kind of want to know who did what and why and all this sort of stuff. So
I think that's one cool thing about your YouTube channel is like obviously you look at some of like I've got it up here and you've got some of the key players like your Guan Yu, Dian Wei, Lumong, but like then you've got like people who get a bit overlooked like Sao Hong, Tao Hong.
yeah. But yeah, that's it. I think out of all the playable characters, there's got to be others that have done like more stuff or are more credible, and I want to try and find who they are and make them more prominent, I guess, or just pay attention to them because
makes sense.
Credit where credit's due, I reckon.
And some of like because also as well like sometimes when you look at like the historical versions like obviously it's a video game, so in Dynasty Warriors they all look very cool and like so then sometimes when you look at like their real portrayals you're a bit like like they don't look as cool as they do in the video game.
Yeah, I've had that a little bit, but then again, it's reality, isn't it? It's not all perfect.
No. So what is your favorite Dynasty Warriors game like ever that you ever played?
I've always thought 8 is like the 8 Ultimate Edition was always a good like whole encompass. My only criticism is like some of the maps are just there's a lot of like running around back and forth.
Yeah.
But and then also 4, I got a lot of good memories with 4, the hardest difficulty on 4 and like Wuzhang Plains. I just remember having a lot of fun doing that, getting those good items or trying to.
I have a lot of good memories with 4 Empires. Like the Empires games were so good because you got kind of like the RTS element of like Romance of the Three Kingdoms, the game, but you didn't have to do all like the annoying unit management. You just played as your character, and you could do like you could do that thing where you just went right. They've got like 10,000 men. I'm gonna send just me in.
Yeah, that's it. Have one army and just save all your supplies and just do it all yourself.
And you like obviously create your custom characters to be the emperor or whatnot, and then just watch as you get like Tao Tao and Liu Bei and all these like powerful warlords to bow. You're like kneel before me.
Yeah, it's good. I used to really enjoy Dynasty Tactics too as well. That was always a favourite of mine.
That was good.
I love that game so much, and I feel I'd love to see a remaster or a remake of that. It'd be well good.
They did like Kessen 2 as well, which was
I
predominantly in.
Yeah, I played that loads as well. It was quite fun.
I bought that out in Spain for some reason. Don't ask me why. It just
and that was obviously pretty out there. Remember that? Himiko, that character.
Yeah. And like the weird way you had to fight the Battle of Chibi because you were on boats.
Yeah, and you're sort of running around on horseback and like hitting them like Dynasty Warriors, but it doesn't really do anything. Or maybe it does. I don't know.
You had that weird thing where you could like call all your men to you.
Yeah, and then do like a little charge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was weird. But yeah, Dynasty Warriors, I'd say if you wanted to get the best Dynasty Warriors experience, I'd go for 8 complete edition, like you said. Because you get all those cool like extra characters and
it's got all the characters, all the weapons, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think that ticks most of the boxes, that one.
Yeah, and then for pure nostalgia and like my favourite Dynasty Warriors 4 Empires was just so good. It's just so much fun. Going around like just enacting ridiculous policies, like making people hate me, and then going right, time to put down a rebellion, assassination attempts. Like, but yeah, no.
So it'd be good to. I'd love to see like a big like Dynasty Warriors mixed with Romance of the Three Kingdoms, mixed with Dynasty Tactics, like all in one. So you can sort of take it from any angle and go RPG if you want and explore China and do all that, or be a king and take it all over, or like do whatever. Obviously, that's going to be like a massive task. I doubt I'm ever going to see it, but I think that's the dream.
I think they're going to try and do something similar with the new Empires. They're going to because apparently the Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires that they're building is trying to cover up the sins of the past with Dynasty Warriors 9 because we were talking about that before we went on air and how that was cool. It was like a cool idea and concept, but
I mean, it's okay. Like I am quite impressed with the world, albeit there is nothing there.
Yeah,
but like if they filled that up, I think they could really do something there.
Yeah,
But
I
again,
feel
to fill it up, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, that was my thing as well. It's like, oh, you can go to different towns and stuff, and then you went there, and it's like the same 4 NPCs. You're like,
Yeah.
fuck! Like, I thought this was supposed to be cool, or you get attacked by a level 80 tiger as you're running around.
That kills you in one hit, and you're like, what?
Yeah, what the fuck's this? But yeah,
I
it's
think
always been.
the combat's quite fun. I mean, I do still like love it.
Yeah, no,
Especially playing as Ma Chao recently, and again, his Musou's insane. It's just like so
yeah.
good.
I think one of the things with Dynasty Warriors, and it's one of those games you can just put on when you've had a bad day, or even if you've had a good day, and just like brain rot to, like, because you just press.
That's literally that's how I like to play games. It's like I don't really want to think or stress. I like to just turn off, play this game, have fun, and just not really have to just unwind as I play it. Basically, not have to worry about anything. And if it does go wrong, it doesn't actually matter. Like,
Yeah,
you just run over there and kill the guy or whatever.
yeah. Like if there's somebody who's fled who's not supposed to, you're just like, oh well, never mind.
Yeah, that doesn't really matter. Yeah.
So your favorite character is obviously Ma Chao, I'm guessing. Like,
yeah, from like a historic standpoint, I think Tao Tao, but in Dynasty Warriors, yeah, Ma Chao.
I was gonna like
even historically, Ma Chao's a bit of a badass, really.
The thing is with because I watched, obviously, I think that was how I first discovered your channel, was the who was Ma Chao, who's the real Ma Chao sort of thing, and like, you didn't really like you knew he could be a bit of a dick based on what was in Dynasty Warriors and like how he acted sometimes, but like it's historically he was a terrible man. Like,
it's a bit ruthless, really.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, my mum's been captured. Like, never mind.
Yeah, I think it was like, I think his dad got captured, or his dad went there and basically, kind of surrendered over to the Han Imperial Court, and then Ma Chao was having none of it and just went down and attacked them all anyway.
Yeah, it's just there, like, yeah, whatever. And he's got Ma Dai behind him, who like is one of my favorite characters in the games and history.
Yeah, it's a cool moveset he's got in 8.
Yeah, like the whole giant brush thing.
Yeah.
Like
so crazy. That's what it's about.
But yeah, I was going to separate it into like both games and like historical. So your favorite historical character is Cao Cao or Tao Tao.
Yeah.
I always get confused with how to pronounce it because they pronounce it in 15 different ways. That's
the trouble, isn't it? And even in 9, they're now pronouncing names even differently again. Wu is now U.
Yeah. Su or whatever.
Like, yeah. But I mean, I try. I'm sure I'm going to make tons of mistakes, but
So why Cao Cao? Is it because he pretty much like has the game on lock straight away, or
he's just like portrayed as the villain, the big bad guy? And again, after seeing that drama, the TV show, it shows Tao Tao in a whole different light.
I do think that you're right there. He's supposed to be the villain throughout the whole thing, and then when you play on like his side, you see it from a different perspective. You're just like, oh no, he's just really clever.
And then he like brought a lot of new things in, a lot of new like political things to change the way things are done to help improve everything. And
there's a reason why his kingdom eventually went on, even though it became Jin, like. There's a reason why his kingdom was the basis for that, and not like the others.
Like the foundation was set up, I think, strong enough to carry on. And even though there was that big sort of Tao versus Sima thing,
it
still kept on. But yeah.
So, are Wei your favorite kingdom overall, or?
Well, it's gonna be quite confusing, but I think maybe Wu.
Well,
so, yeah, I'm not sure.
That meme when it says maturity years, and it shows you like something you liked when you were a kid versus something you like now, or like maturing is realizing that as a kid you like this.
Oh yeah, like Liu Bei, and as an adult you like Tao Tao.
I'm very much like that with Wu and Shu. So Shu was the one who I was like, oh yeah, they're the good guys.
Yeah,
they're defo the good guys. Like, we love them. They care about everybody.
And you find out about Zhang Fei.
Yeah, you find out about Zhang Fei.
Some of his history stuff isn't as good.
Jiang Wei as well. Like that guy who you're told is like the best hero that there's ever been in Shu, and then you realize like in history he's actually the biggest asshole there's ever been. Like,
Yeah.
Because he just won't give up, even when everybody else is like, "Can we stop now? Because people are dying." He's like, "No."
Yeah, but again, he did that for like the past generations, didn't he? He knew that if he didn't do anything, we were going to attack, and then that was that.
Yeah. Whereas
so from a military commander point of view, he's thinking, I need to win battles. I need to actually do something. If he sits there, he's not doing his job.
Yeah.
So it's a different time, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Wu, like, you kind of like they're like the underdog out of the three that everybody forgets about, but then you realize that oh no shit, they lasted till like the end. They were like there.
Yeah, they did good. A lot of talented commanders and generals down there. So yeah.
Yeah, especially considering when you think about it, that sometimes they were even smaller than Shu and were like beating them back and then beating back Wu. Wei, sorry.
The point of Chibi as well. Like they could have just folded and surrendered, and that would have been it. GG. Tao win, but they didn't. Sun Chuan's like, nah.
Nah,
and quite cool.
I've got to cut the fucking table in half.
Yeah.
And if anybody suggests surrendering, you're gonna end up at the table.
Yeah. And everyone's like, okay, looks like we're fighting.
Yeah. Though that was cool. Was there anyone who you were a bit like, I wish they'd added that person? Or you wish they'd added that faction into the games that you think they missed out on?
I'm sure there is. I'm just a bit lost for thought at the minute. But yeah, I mean, Gong Xun Zan has always been an interesting one. Him and his, especially from the romance side, the Baimar Cavalry, Zhao Yun. They've kind of added that a little bit, but not as a playable character. I've always wanted Hua Zhong, but he's now there. Cheng Pu, he's now in.
Yeah. I think the two people that I've always wanted, because of how like hyped up they are in the romance, is Yang Liang and Wen Chou. Like,
yes, yeah, definitely.
They were apparently like the Guan Yu and Zhang Fei before Guan Yu and Zhang Fei were a thing. And
yeah, they're like the two best warriors, aren't they? If you want Shao, and then do it until Guan Yu comes along.
Yeah, and they're just not really made anything of in the games. But you're always told like even from Dynasty Warriors 3, if I remember rightly, when you fight Guan Du, it's like avoid Yan Liang and Wen Chou. Like,
yeah, that's it. Yeah, avoid them at all. Was it protect Baimar and the Yan Jing at all costs?
Yeah, but then Yan Liang's there like, I'm coming, and you're like, oh no, he's coming for me. But then they're not actually ever made like a big fuss of. I suppose it's because they die at that battle. They get
I think it's again, is it Luo Guanzhong who wrote the Romance of the Three Kingdoms? He probably made them seem better than they are to then make Guan Yu even better. If you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, so like he put them up on a pedestal, so that when Guan Yu bitch slaps them, it's like
I was like, oh okay, so he must be really really good then, and then from then on you're like, yep, Guan Yu's the man.
Yeah, because you've got Hua Zhong as well, who he's on there now, in Dynasty Warriors 9, isn't he? He got added.
Yeah, there's been some like, weird additions. Like I thought Dong Bai was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that was weird. I think some of the Jin officers as well. You're a bit like, really? Like you chose those people? Like, for example, I still think, although I love him and I think he's a great character, I still think Zhong Hui is like the weirdest addition because like, what does he actually do? Like, he does. He has a bit of a god complex, doesn't he? Rebels and then gets his ass beat. That's it. Like,
I think he tries to he just like at the end tries to like bring back Shu. I'm not really. I need to like do a who is on him really to find out more. But
yeah, because I know
it's strange.
He becomes like buddies with Jiang Wei, and that's it. Like he's like.
So I mean, it'll be interesting to look into the historic and try and find out what relationships he had with people to maybe motivate why he would do that. Because it seems so sort of like random and like an impossible task, really. Like,
I know there's a history between him and Dong Ai, but like, I think because did you do Dong Ai as a?
Yeah, I did him. Yeah,
because I think you mentioned that whole rebellion.
Like, right at the end.
Yeah, it's just like. It's just really weird. It's a really weird choice.
Deng Ai does the hard work and then sort of just gets taken out, and then Zhong Hui just sort of rebels at the end. I don't know, maybe like Xiang Wei had more to do with it and convinced them, or who knows, bribes or whatever.
because it's kind of what happened with Shugo Dan as well, isn't it? Like, but he went to Wu instead. Like,
yeah, he kind of got isolated with the whole simmer thing.
yeah. So like, just because of how things were changing, like they got almost like played. They almost played themselves. They like went, I need to do something desperately.
Yeah, and like back then, it's like all clans, isn't it? So if your family do something, then you're held responsible as well.
Yeah. Because I think that was a cool thing in your latest video about Chen Chun was the nine ranks policy.
Yeah,
and how it like your dad's rank would like play into yours. It's like Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah. There's always been like a strong emphasis, I think, on that in like ancient, well, even today in China, of filial piety and family relations and stuff. And this is why it's all like clans and a strong emphasis on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So also on your YouTube channel, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about because I find it really funny. I don't watch them all the way through, but I do interest them. Is
the characters?
Yeah, the characters. It's like some of them are like great. Like I think one of my favorite.
I just figured just do it to the best. I mean, I've done like there were some stupid things that have come up, but I'm like, well, have a go, whatever. It's just a bit of fun, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you've had like
especially some of these Lord of the Rings ones, like the Balrog, I think comes to mind. It's like that's so impossible to do, but let's have a go.
I also like some of your like comic book character ones as well. Like,
yeah,
Thanos looks ridiculous.
I've always thought, like, can I do comic book characters? It's like, no, there's no way you can. And it got to the point I was like, oh, let's just do some. Let's just see what happens. And some turn out alright. Some not so much, but whatever.
So we kind of spoke about it before we went live on the podcast, but what has like made you, because we were talking about the fact that it seems very hard to find other Dynasty Warriors or like Romance of the Free Kingdom fans who are that into it. So what made you decide that this is the void that I want to fill?
Well, I think because I've obviously been a massive fan since I was a kid. My logic is there's so many people in the world, there has to be others that are into this as much as me. And I've been looking for a YouTube channel like this, and I've never found it, so I figured I'll just start having a go and have a go.
Oh, sweet. And is this like self-taught, or like the editing and stuff, or is that part of like
everything's just been self-taught, just working in warehouses and just dead-end jobs, and I decided just to start writing and recording and learning how to edit and just see what happens, pretty much, you know.
So what was that process like trying to like get all the footage and get all the
quite fun, really. Just quite boring at points. I had to sit there and just record like every cutscene from Dynasty Warriors 8. So that was okay. And then after you do that for like an hour or 2 hours, you realise that you've recorded too much and like half of it's all laggy. So you got to then break it up and record it in separate parts.
Ooh.
So yeah, that was a little bit annoying, but obviously you learn as you go. And now, as I'm doing Dynasty Warriors 9, I just record each cutscene once I complete the game. And yeah, Romance of the Three Kingdoms again, just get all the images, all the pictures. And then as I'm editing it, just looking through them all to try and find the right little facial bits and all these things to go with what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that you do quite well, is like how you splice your video together is you pick like really appropriate moments, or very appropriate images for the thing that you're talking about. So I think there was one in the Zhuge Dan video where you spoke about him getting defeated, and it was like one of the cutscenes where he gets like hit and he like slides back.
Oh yeah. And it just comes in at the right time, sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you using personally to edit and record this sort of thing? Because a lot of people think, I thought this as well, that the whole finding the appropriate like software and everything would be really easy, but it's not.
Well, yeah, this builds into what actually made me start doing it. It was a mate at work just suggested these programs. Like he had looked well into it, found out basically the best things to get, and I was like, okay, let's get it, let's have a go. So So Audacity is what I use for recording,
Mhm.
and then Hit Film Express for editing. So yeah, I just do it all on there.
I use Audacity for this. So
yeah,
what will happen is the Discord bot will throw me the project when I ask for it and download it.
okay.
And I throw it in Audacity, and then I've got a thing called DaVinci Resolve, which is good. It's just a lot. Like, it takes up a lot of space on a computer and takes up a lot of like the processing power when you do
is
it.
that your editing thing? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've never really heard of any of them. My mate just said, "Look, these are the ones." I'm like, "That'll do."
that'll do, donkey.
Yeah,
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. Let's have a go.
So apart from Dynasty Warriors, obviously Tecmo Koei do other games. Like the most probably notable is Samurai Warriors, which is the Sengoku period. We kind of talked about that a little bit. Do you have much experience with that?
Not too much. I think it was. Let's have a look. Which ones do I have? I think I played 4 a lot. But yeah. Again, it's like so much to learn, all the history. I've never really been able to like grasp it all and get into it enough. And when I think I'm figuring it out, a lot more things happen, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know what's going on still. Yeah, Samurai Warriors 4-2.
Yeah,
is the one I last played. Again, they're really fun games. The movesets are amazing. Like the weapons are really good. I just struggle to know really what's going on.
Yeah.
Probably most familiar with Nobunaga Oda, I think.
Oh, what? Sao 2.
Basically, yeah. It's like lightsaber weapon.
Yeah, that is cool.
Fun character for sure.
Did you ever play Warriors of Orochi?
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
That is so good when him and Sao meet each other for the first time. They're like, hang the fuck on, you look exactly like me.
It's like the Spider-Man meme when they all point at each other.
Yeah, that is so good.
Orochi's a cool game.
I love Orochi. I need to play. Is it 4? The latest one.
Yeah, last one I've only ever played one. That was on the Xbox 360.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, it's really good. And that's got Himiko in it as well, actually.
Yeah, because it's got the mystics in from like the Legend of Benkei and everything.
Yeah, Fushi and Nuwa.
Yeah,
and that monkey dude, the one who like flies around on a cloud.
Sun Wukong, yeah.
Yeah, amazing characters, like so fun.
Yeah,
I'd love to have those movesets put into 9 Empires.
Yeah, that would be dope. Not gonna lie.
Character creation way better.
Yeah, could you imagine if it were like turned out that you could download those movesets? Like,
it'd be amazing.
So yeah, have you played any of the other Warriors games like Hyrule Warriors or Arslan or anything?
No, Pirate Warriors. I've probably played like 1 or 2 levels at a friend's house, but yeah, other than that.
Yeah, I did find it weird, like when they did say like already known IPs, like the Gundam Warriors one and stuff like that. I found it really weird for some reason, like jarring almost. I was like,
didn't they do like a Roman one or something, or like a Greek one? Was there like
they did. Oh yeah, they did. They did because you could play as Achilles. What was that called? Because they did that one, and they did Blade Storm, which was the 100-Year War. You could play as Joan of Arc. And they appear in later Warriors of Orochi's games.
Yeah,
Warriors of Orochi games. But yeah, those were pretty dope.
It'd be good to see a Lord of the Rings one. I'd love that.
That'd be pretty. Admittedly, considering the battles that there are throughout Middle Earth, that would make sense. Like,
it would be quite fun.
Like that, or
getting like 10,000 kills as Frodo.
Frodo's moveset was just him putting the ring on and going.
Or even it'd just be stupid, but that's the whole point. It'd be good.
Yeah, there would be some funny things because, like, admittedly, when you think about it, like, I don't know about you, but I didn't feel like there were many hack and slash games before Dynasty Warriors like opened the door. Like, there was some, like, but then after Dynasty Warriors kind of like opened the door, because we've also got to remember that Dynasty Warriors 1 was a 2.5D like plane fighter, wasn't it? Like like
a Tekken or something. Yeah.
Whereas then it just evolved into this like behemoth, like you can kill 1,000 people in one hit if you time it right. Like what? Like
yeah, I guess they just saw Tekken and all these other upcoming beat 'em ups, and were like, oh, well, we can't do that. Let's just turn the camera around and make them fight these little people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you look. So you do your own research, I'm guessing. There's not like someone else who helps you with that. How do you gather that? Because that's not only like having to wade through things like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms itself, which has a lot of like material written about it, and then like it's like diving into the history of a completely different country. Like how does that work?
Well, there's the Wikipedia pages, which is like the main source, but I've recently found like other wikis now that have different bits from other, because there's like biographies about all the different characters. So these are all the different records. And so yeah, there's just a lot of different websites to wade through to get all the different bits of information, and then to put that in order so I can sort of tell the story chronologically. But to be fair, a lot of other historians before me have done a lot of the hard work already. So I'm kind of just now taking their work and putting it into a video format.
Yeah,
but then sometimes I am finding new bits of information, and it's like, oh, I missed that on this guy, and I've missed out this bit, and so.
I think even so, you're also making it like smaller, like because I can imagine all those like historical things.
Yeah, I recently found more on Hu Lao Gate and all the Dongzhuo stuff. Well, not Hu Lao Gate, but the Dongzhuo stuff, and I did like a big video on that, and I think that'll be my biggest one yet if I get all that information in there, because it's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. Like your research seems like really good, and like you managed to condense it in a way that's not like overwhelming.
Yeah, that was kind of what I learned on like the Lu Meng video. That was like the first one I did where I was trying to get like as much information as I could. And I felt, after then I think I got a bit better at that. That was the longest one up till that point. But yeah.
Who's the favourite person that you found out about apart from Ma Chao? I'll put that caveat in. Who's the person who you went, oh shit, this person was actually really cool? Like,
I think Deng Ai.
Really?
I mean, I knew he was quite cool, just kind of how the character looks and sounds. But yeah, again, his little mountainous thing that he did to get to Chengdu and then to take it out, and
he was the guy who, I found your video on Zhou. You see him in the games. It's just like
he's definitely prominent, I think, to their whole history.
Yeah, and then you go like, oh well, there was also this problem that he had. I was like, what? When? Like,
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
That's good.
Especially when, because I think one of the cool things about it as well, or what you do, is the fact that like I feel like I've spent so much time with some of these characters, like obviously like Guan Yu, like Ma Chao, and everybody. Like I've been playing the game since I was like 11.
Yeah, and then, so I mean, I think it's like an untapped market. We're all adults now. We know who they are, but do we really know who they are?
Yeah, exactly. Like you like I think I know them, and then you tell me something. I'm like, oh my god, and then when you go through the game again.
I mean, I'm the same. I think I know them, and then I read through the wiki, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a bit like, all right, okay.
Yeah,
different, or
yeah, because is there anyone that you've been like disappointed to find out about? Like you've been like gearing up to do like a video on them, and then you've like either did your research and went, oh no, they're just a bit meh, or actually I'm still going to do it, but they're kind of a lot more boring than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, it's mainly all the ones that are like highlighted in the game. So like Yan Liang, Wen Chao, Zhou Kang, Hua Zhong. I thought there'd be a lot more, but obviously they were like made up and like all just stuff's added for the romance version. So I thought there'd be a lot more to say about them, especially Yan Liang. I remember getting down to do that. I'm like, okay, how am I going to do a video on this? But I did it anyway, and so now I've started to get these little characters and put them all into like a group to get more content from each video.
Yeah, I saw that with your Wu Jing and Sun Ben video. Like that was quite good. Like the fact that those 3 like linked characters, you managed to like get them into one video.
Yeah, that's another kind of confusing to find out who did what at what point when you're looking at different characters and trying to get that in.
So
Yeah.
You've done the character analyses and like the character histories and whatnot. And you kind of mentioned you've done like the Yellow Turban Rebellion, and now you're looking at, or you're in the middle of doing the Dongzhuo like takeover. Is that something that you're moving into now? That idea of like doing key periods of time as well as characters, or?
Yeah, it's always kind of been the long-term plan. I want to try and get all the characters, not all of them, get most of the characters mapped out so basically everyone knows who we're talking about. And as they come into the bigger like chapters, we then know who they are, what they did, why it would matter, and sort of things like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I want to get more characters done, then do like the big chapters, like you say.
Is there any particular battle that you'd be really excited to like find out all the nitty gritty parts of?
Wuzhang Plains is one. I want to know all the details of that because I think a lot of that is like romanticized and.
Oh yeah, like the whole death of Xu Gailiang and everybody.
Yeah, I want to know like what happened. Obviously, I don't think Xiang Wei was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to know what was the battle at Wuzhang Plains and who was there.
One I'd be very interested to find out like the historical thing of is Heifei, like having like the whole thing where Zhang Liao's going to come get you. Like like they literally tell monster stories about Zhang Liao to woo children.
I've never understood that story, that you tell stories about Zhang Liao and it makes your child stop crying. Was that the story or something?
Something like that, yeah. If he hears you, he's gonna come and get you or something.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. You're like, they're like, out of all the people. But admittedly, he did somehow, like, there is historical record of somehow batting back like so many people with just him.
Yeah, I think they say it was like a 1,000,000-man army or something.
Yeah, it wasn't like
that was I think the Wu forces had a disease, I think, went through their army or something.
Yeah. And
so
then
I think that helped as well.
I think it also helped that they had 2 of like the best siege specialists like on deck, didn't they? Because they had Yue Jin and
Li Dian, isn't it? Yeah.
He's like one of my favorite low key. He's like one of my favorite characters because I find him
they're
so cool.
Yue Jin and Li Dian. It's good that they got put in because they're just all over the place, really. And I think Zhang He as well. I think he's quite underrated. His name's everywhere, so.
Yeah, Zhang Hei's like everywhere, and like Yue Jin and Li Dian are there forever. Like they seem to like go into Cao Pi's time, even though they'd be like 100 odd. Like but yeah, no. I find like it really cool that somebody like you on YouTube exists, and you've got all these cool like videos, not just of the characters, but of your like created characters where you've had some like fun times. Like I'm looking through again, and I'm seeing like the Final Fantasy ones, and I think some of them
there's some crazy ones in there. Some are quite cool. Yeah.
Like,
I think I've done a lot of Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah, I quite like that. I quite like the Arden one because you just like tried to keep the hat. Is there ever been? Oh, sorry. You keep going.
I know, you carry on. I
was going to say, is there ever been a character that you've researched? Like, because obviously, when you go through the encyclopedia on like the Dynasty Warriors disc, it usually tells you if someone's made up. It usually says like, "Oh, this person's was romanticized and wasn't real." Like, was there anyone who from the games you're like, shit, they're not real? What the fuck? Like, how? Like,
well, I think one of the early ones was Shou Kang. I was like, right, cool, let's do Shou Kang, ex-Yellow Turban, befriended Guan Yu. There's got to be some cool things there.
And apparently run like the Flash. Like,
yeah, it's like didn't exist. I'm like, okay,
all right. I think my ones were the sons of Guan Yu. Like the fact that it's like Guan Xing and Guan Suo might not have existed.
Yeah, I think Guan Suo didn't exist. I think Guan Xing did, but he didn't go to battle and stuff. He just had like a decent job or whatever. And
Yeah.
Aiden Shu. Go on, Sir, though. He's always been my favourite, but
yeah, and he's not male.
yeah, so
which makes it so Bao Sanyang doesn't exist either.
Yeah. No.
Like it's like you're like, oh shit, what?
Yeah, she might be based on like one of the wives or concubines of them all.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, I only recently clicked that Xing Kai is Liu Shan's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because
I've been playing it this whole time. I'm like, oh, is it right?
Because they never ever address that. She's just always around him and always protecting him. And like, I think she even goes on to say something like she loves him. They never make out that it's his wife.
Yeah, I sort of read it and it's clicked, and now every time I see them, I'm like, wait, yeah, she's always stood behind them. They're trying to like, yeah, I see what they're going with her. It just never clicked with me. Yeah.
Because like, even like, is there? Because admittedly, some of the female characters in Dynasty Warriors, like obviously they wouldn't have actually went to fight, but you know, some of them are like really cool, like Yue Ying, for example.
There was one. She got put into the Total War game. I can't remember her name, but she was a female bandit.
Yeah.
And Sun Xiang, she had like a entourage of female warriors. So it was known, but I don't think like the Imperial Army would recruit women, so to speak.
No.
But they definitely, it did happen. Yeah.
She was, because she was famous for her skill with a bow, wasn't she? So she would have had an archer unit or something. I know she went to battle, and I don't think she went to battle, but I think Zhang Mangcheng may have also like served in like commanded in like with her husband.
That'd be cool. But I need to look into them as well. I don't know much about her. That's Sima Yi's wife, isn't it?
Yeah, Sima Yi's wife. Yeah. I know Yue Ying obviously is like this famous inventor. Whether that's true or not, like, is interesting.
I think she was. I think she did contribute.
Yeah, but then you've got like people like Xing Sai, and then who's the other one? Lian Shi. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Leon, there's
Tits McGee.
Tits McGee.
Like every time you see her in shot, it's like Jesus, man.
Yeah. In
cool moveset though.
Yeah, her crossbow's interesting. Yeah. In one of the Warriors of Orochi games, me and my brother were playing it, and there's always like, because she's friends with Sun Shangxiang, like there's always like Sun Shangxiang every time she's on the battlefield with Lian Shi, it's like Lian Shi, because it's not dubbed, so they're like it's like Lian Shi. It's like, oh my god, shut up, stop. Like it's like, let's go Lian Shi.
Like, the voice acting's like iconic though in these games, isn't it?
Some of them are so good because they're so bad.
When you go even back, like the further back you go, the better the voice acting gets.
Yeah, so good. I was talking about like voice acting with someone not long ago, actually. Like, I think some of the best voice lines are in like even the new like Dynasty Warriors 9. Some of the voice acting in it is like terrible. It's like,
yeah, they've kind of swapped Zhang Fei and Lu Bu's characters around, hasn't it? Yeah. Zhang Fei is now saying all the stuff Lu Bu used to, and Lu Bu's kind of no longer a demon man. He's more of a human, it seems.
Yeah, I think the funniest thing as well is like in 9, like I'm playing as Shu Ran at the minute, and like there's a minute where he's like, oh my god, the Wei forces are attacking on 3 fronts. What are we gonna do?
Like, saying it like he's like scratching his ass or something, couldn't care less.
Like,
oh no, we are going to die.
Yeah.
What are we going to do?
Like, yeah, like
he's got a weird moveset though, hasn't he? That arrow thing. Just an arrow innate.
Yeah.
When you get used to it, it's alright. But
it's just weird because of the fact that for some reason it's like you like shoot in front of you, and for some reason he doesn't. It's like always to like the side or something. You're like, this is not helpful.
Like, side strafing about and stuff. Yeah. Once you get used to it, it's okay. But yeah, it's a weird one to start with.
He wasn't my start. It's just because I want to get into later. I want to get into later Wu, and I know he's there for a bit of it. Like, so I'm trying to get into later Wu so I can do like
Ding Feng. He's always knocking around right till the end.
Yeah, he's like 200 by the end of the whole like Three Kingdoms era.
Him and Liu Hua just keep on going.
Yeah, they're just like old decrepit men who deserve to be like retired, and they're like, no, must fight for my first dead lord's dream.
Yeah. Learn
Who do
about
who do you? Oh, sorry, you go first, mate.
Yeah, learning a bit about Sun Jian as well. Just how good he is, basically, especially throughout the whole Dong Zhuo thing.
Sun Jian takes like names at one point. Like you think, because again, like Wu Wei gets forgotten about, but like in the early game, Sun Jian's taken everybody. Like he's like destroyed everybody.
Because historically, there's no Sishui Gate or Hulao Gate.
No.
So like all of that is done by Sun Jian.
Yeah.
He did lose one fight there, and he almost died. But then he comes back and beats Dong Zhuo, beats Lu Bu, kicks them out of Chang'an, Luo Yang.
Walks out with the Imperial Seal, apparently, as well.
And it's like, yeah, and then it's like like repairs the tombs, does all this stuff, and then meanwhile, the entire other coalition is just like, oh, I lost a battle over here, lost over there. These guys aren't even moving.
Yeah.
And then he gets the supplies cut off as well, and it's like, Christ, like, imagine if they actually all worked together just for like that little bit. It would have just been like resolved. But
so yeah, what we talked about before. Sun Jian was taking names at one point, and like you said, like just if they'd have all worked together and pulled it out, they could have actually
been resolved
like so much quicker.
Yeah, but again, everyone just started squabbling and fighting. But
everybody was using it as a stepping stone, weren't they, rather than being there for the right reason? Like everybody was
like once the capital got burnt, I think they all presumed the emperor was dead, and so they all started just thinking, oh well, what's the point anyway? Let's just pick on who's going to be the next emperor. And then that's when everyone started making suggestions, and then chaos ensues.
Yeah. Is that what you like about the whole like historical part of it, like the political side of it, or is it the battles and like the epicness of the
bit of all of it? I mean, I'm really interested in like ancient history as a whole, and so like the fact that they've got so much documented and recorded, it's like, you know, a gateway into ancient history and how it all operated. And you hear about these 30,000 man armies, million man armies and stuff. It's like, how did that really work? How did that function, and what did it look like? That's what interests me.
Yeah, because considering they didn't have like modern technology, a million people.
Yeah, and it's like I'm trying to kind of get my head around that. I just kind of imagine like a festival full of people.
Yeah.
And that's like your army, that's like the camp or whatever. And when like another army turns up, it's like everyone's running around and it's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Can't imagine that, can't really fathom.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy. Just like crazy. And like their ancient cities, their big walls that they've got, and some of the cities today still have it, and yeah, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, because I always find it funny when you look at on a map of China and Chengdu's on there. You're like, I know that place, kind of.
The geography gets a bit confusing because all these provinces and stuff have been like redivided, renamed, and changed throughout the history. And then, when it comes to talking about it and looking where they are, there's all these different maps I've got to look at. But yeah,
I can imagine that's both really interesting because of the fact that you get to see how this land used to be divided up.
Yeah, it is good.
And then, I can imagine that because your content is like educational and also like condensing down something that has the potential to be quite dense and like verbose.
Yeah.
Do you have like a very strict scripting procedure and policy to your work, or?
No, not really. The aim is to try and get as much information as I can.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously some people have more information than others, and sometimes they've got so much it's like almost overwhelming. And so I think doing it in this format, as time goes on, I will eventually get to say every little bit of detail. It will come up somewhere.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, I mean, definitely at the start, I was thinking more like break it down, just try and like briefly show what was going on. But that would get more and more repetitive. So by doing it this way, I can go into each scene, get the people, and show what's going on in detail.
No, I quite like the format you've got going on. Like, I'm quite jealous of it, admittedly. Like, I wish I could be that disciplined as to do this and
yeah. I mean, all that comes down to just the love of the fandom. Like, I just love it. So again, it takes like 2 hours on average to edit like a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's a long process, but ultimately I do have fun whilst I'm doing that. That's why it takes so long. To me, it's kind of like I'm setting the stage, I'm getting the pieces I want and moving them around. And again, I enjoy the whole process. So
that is pretty dope. Like the fact that, like, even what is it? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
that's exactly it.
Yeah, and
this sure beats like warehouses and all these other little jobs that I've had.
So I was going to ask you, like, how do you fit it in? Because like I work in a school.
Yeah. So I wake up at like 2 or 3, go do my little cleaning job at the supermarket, finish at 6 in the morning, go for a little run, then edit until midday, or write or record whatever's next until midday. Do an hour cleaning again, come back, same again, just edit all day until tea time, and then that's when I relax.
I'm just thinking, like, so do you have like specific days where you do it then? Because otherwise you'll be up like every day
Yeah,
of the week.
yeah, and it's just and if I go like all in all day, if I did that for like 4 or 5 days in a row, you can sort of get on top of yourself. So it's a matter of just like working flat out to then give yourself some days off, and then on those days I'll basically play Dynasty Warriors 9 and try and unlock more cutscenes. But it's hard to try and do that quickly when you just want to relax and just you're having fun, just killing all the enemies, and you're like, I need to be doing this quicker, but then you're like, I just want to have fun at the same time. So
sometimes it takes forever as well, because that game we were talking about, it runs a bit like a slideshow at points.
I mean, I mean, if I want to do it quickly, you can like fast travel to your objective now. So you just go straight.
I know, but it's just like even that, it takes forever to load. You're like,
yeah. I just put a little phone game on, put some music on, and just again, it's like I've done worse things in other warehouses and stuff. This is so easy compared to that. So
yeah, but no, that's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie that you managed to that you're managing this and doing all that, because I find it difficult to do this podcast, and the podcast pretty much is sit down with somebody, talk to them about what they do, and hope it like goes well, which I think it is. But like, I remember when we first started, because it was during the first quarantine.
yeah,
Like, we had like a stricter, like, I used to, because it was 3 of us in the beginning. I was more like the research guy, and I did all like the scripting, like, and then as time went on, like I kind of became a host, and then
now you're the captain.
now it's just me, and so I'm trying to get it to work, but hopefully it will. I'll get back into it now that I've had some time with the boy.
I think it's like anything, just put the work in, just keep going and keep going, keep growing.
I'm not gonna lie, if I could get some of that sweet Spotify money, that'd be sick if I could do that and do like a
it's definitely the age
job
for it. I think if there's ever a point in time, I think now's the time to like get a channel going. It is the age of the content creator. Again, like you said, all this COVID stuff, there's more people inside on their phones clicking around. So
yeah, and I think people, even after things have been let go and you're allowed to go out, people are still.
Yeah, I think it's kind of had its effect now, hasn't it? People are going to kind of be
we've got
hooked
into
on
the habit.
the internet taking over, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm really glad that you came on today. I know that you've been busy, and I appreciate your time.
That's cool.
Is there anything do you want to like shout yourself out before you
yeah, it's 3 Kings on YouTube. That's THREE Kings, not the number. And I think it's Clog on Twitter. And Three Kings Clog on Reddit.
Nice. And as per usual, you know me. I'm Addison. This has been the Pod of Many Things. You can find me on YouTube, anywhere you can find brilliant podcasts like my own. And I'm on Twitter as Pod O Many Things because somebody is sat on Pod of Many Things, and it actually infuriates me. But we will. We move.
What if you changed it to Pod on Many Things?
Pod on Many Things. Just sat on stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on this. I'm on that.
I'm on this. I'm on that. Yeah. But yeah.
I'm on it all. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Nick, for coming and speaking
right.
to me today. And
no worries, man.
I'll get this, get the bot, and we will see you later. Just remember, whoever you are, wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. I hope to see you soon. Bye.